Welcome, Earthbound Travelers. It's Friday by Garth Dokeen Sacred Tate. Welcome to Cast Guidance. I'm your host, Locke Clark. And with me, as always, is Raph the Mad. Hi, Raph.
Greetings, gamers. How you doing? Ah! It's been a
We're
week.
all a little hyper today, apparently. So first off, announcements and the logistical stuff. We are not in any way associated with any TTRPG creators. We are just a bunch of questionable individuals giving our questionable opinions. So take anything we say with a grain of also, this is for mature audiences. We're gonna say fuck a whole lot, and if you're not cool with that, bye. Have a nice day. Hope you have a good life. Maybe this isn't for you. And finally, do I need to give I don't think I need to give the vape thing because neither one of us is vaping on. So we're just gonna skip right ahead to our partners. First off, our musicians. Peculiar Patrick made our theme song, and it's fucking awesome, and we love it. And we owe a big shout out to him. Thank you, Peculiar Patrick. Also, we would like to. God, Tier's trying to rile me up today, guys. He's just trying real hard.
Go back to work.
Yeah, do your fucking job. This isn't your job right now. You can come back later, but right now this isn't your job. We welcome you to be in chat, but yeah. He's just trying to push that button. He's been pushing at it all morning. For anyone who's just listening to this on podcast, Tier keeps bringing up Counterspell here. Anyway, and fuck. I'm sure that's what he wants. Where the fuck was I? I have ADHD and I just got derailed the fucking gone, man.
Fine. While you're trying to figure where you're going, we'll talk about where I'm going. Where I'm going is where we're all going. We're all going to patreon.com. Get out there, look it up, type it into the Googles or the Bings or whatever else you use, and look up Will of the Dice. Hit subscribe to our channel. Help support us. When you subscribe, you get access to After the Rolls. We discuss the fuckery that Tier does by counter-sparing heals. We also get access to some audio dramas. We get access to everything before we hit the Podbeans and the YouTubes. And seriously, folks, by subscribing to us, you help support this channel. And the next 17 people who subscribe get access to the giant, shonky 55mm table shaker D20 for Red Panda Dice and Delights. So do it. Please do it. Subscribe. Do it.
And while we're talking about Red Panda Dice and Delights, they're one of our partners in this endeavor. We want to thank them. So go check out Red Panda Dice and Delights at redpandadice.com and find some dice that you like, because everybody needs more math click-clacks to make their lives better. Also, we love them, and they make plushies. They make Red Panda plushies that are amazing. So go check them out at redpandadice.com. Also, we would like to thank NordVPN, who's one of our partners in this. They provide military-grade encryptions for all your security needs. It works on all your devices. They search the web for your information, make sure it hasn't gotten out there. And they, let you do the thing with the streaming services where you appear to be in a different country, but then you're really not. But you get to see what's on the streaming services in other places. Like you can go to the UK and see what Netflix has over there. I bet it's a bunch of different shows, and you don't have to pay for like Acorn to get all the British shows. Finally, our final part. To get to them, you go to willofthedice.com and click the link that's there. Boom. Thirdly, we would like to thank Phineas Coffee, makers of highly caffeinated coffee for gamers. Are you a gamer? Why are you watching this if you're not? If you're a gamer and you need to stay awake through those long D&D sessions, try Phineas Coffee. Coffee for gamers. And you're going to do that by going through our link, which is bit.ly/WOTD Phineas. That's bit.ly/WOTD Phineas to check them out and let them know you came from us so that we look cool.
Yes, please.
All right. Let's get into the get-in-doing.
Right, where are we starting today?
Do you want to? We never went through the rules glossary really on the playtest UA.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the last thing that we need to do.
Kinda
So
close that out a bit. There's
we'll
not
close that
much.
out. It's not a lot. We're just gonna take a minute, and I think me and Tier might have touched on it a little bit, but we didn't like specifically go through it. So just to make sure, we spent 3 weeks talking about this. Fuck if I remember what exactly we talked about in the first one, but like, you know.
Yep.
Um,
Of the UAs, I like the fact that they're putting change logs in here. The thing they're listing new and revised entries, death saving throws have been changed up. The influence action has changed yet again. True Sight got clarification, and they moved entries for artisan tools, the dying condition, the exhausted condition, the gaming set tool, and the musical tool. Really? I know it's alphabetical, but my organization was you should put the tools all together and then the two conditions. So it's like, oh, we get rid of artisan tools, dying, exhaustion, gaming tools. What? So they've changed some entry. They got rid of those conditions for now, which says they're probably doing some serious rewrites of the dying and exhausted conditions.
right.
But the death saving throw, I kind of poked out of it, but that made some interesting changes. Let's see. Currently, it now says on your third successful death save, you regain 1 hit point, but you are unconscious and start a short rest. You remain unconscious until you regain more hit points or until another creature uses an action to administer first aid to you, which requires a successful DC 10 Wisdom check. This playtest rule removes the notion of being stable at 0 hit points, and it removes the stabilize a creature rule on page 197 of the player's handbook.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's no more 0. It's 1 hit point.
Okay, so the short rest part, I feel like that's not going to come up a lot. You're almost never going to get to finish that short rest, but if I'm the DM, there's going to be occasionally it's going to happen that someone gets knocked unconscious or is in death saves, and like maybe the rest of the party gets captured or whatever, and they're left on the battlefield alone,
or in a cell with a rat.
Yeah, or in a cell with a rat. And they roll successfully on their death saves, and now they're just unconscious with 1 hit point, and they get to start a short rest. And I, as a DM, would be like, okay, so an hour later, you wake up, and you can take the benefits of a short rest, take your hit die, and now you got to figure out what you're going to do. I like the way that feels pretty organic.
Yeah, I like the route you described. Yes, it does. It seems very organic, and like you said, it's not going to come up very often because most of the time someone hits 0, there's a heal spell or something, a potion being dumped down their throat, something to get them back up real quick.
There are very few things that raise you back up to 1 hit point.
Mm.
Oh, but wait. That's going to affect... There's a bunch of class-specific abilities. Like the Barbarian gets one on certain subclasses, where when you fall down, you pop back up with 1 hit point.
But this is on a third successful death save.
That's on a death save. But yeah, so I'm just saying it's going to cause a little confusion because 1 hit point is now listed as an unconscious.
No, it's not.
Right? I mean,
it says, but you get 1 hit point, but you are unconscious to start.
You are unconscious. I'm just saying, I think some people are going to read that wrong or interpret that wrong, and some DM somewhere who hasn't read it thoroughly enough, when the Barbarian goes, I stand back up with 1 hit point, they're going to go, nope, you're unconscious. 1 hit point is unconscious.
It's not, but
it's not though. But yeah, I'm just saying that that's going to cause some arguments at a couple of tables. It's probably not a big enough percentage to matter, but I foresee it happening.
Yep. So yeah, there's that. What's the other influence?
Yeah, I just want to address David in the chat. Yes, I know which Phineas you mean. You mean my Pensic one. Anyway,
Um,
All right, what else was on that list of what changed?
I threw the influence action back. They're really kind of tinkering with that influence action every time, every UA.
Yeah. They're trying out a bunch of different versions to see which one gets the best. It's, because the influence is a real... They're addressing one of the main problems in D&D, in my opinion. And that is... I'm sorry, I'm composing my thoughts so I say it correctly. The idea that persuasion is magical in some way. That if I roll a nat 20 on persuasion, then I can convince that guy to hand over his grandfather's ring that's what identifies him as a member of his family and is a legacy of his house or whatever, like something that no one would ever... I can get the king to take off his crown and name me king and put this crown on my head. Persuasion does not work that way. It's never meant to work that way. And that's part of why critical successes don't apply to action, to ability check, just to attack rolls. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those, to me, personally, at my table, we've never even bothered with it. It's the DM, no matter what you roll, the DM decides how it comes out. So if you roll that nat 20, okay, what you're trying to do probably succeeds and a bit extra, but you're not going to, they've never allowed the NPC is going to do something totally asinine against their nature or
right. I mean, it's
actually over bad.
It's the same thing with a sleight of hand roll. Like, there are limitations no matter how well you roll. The guy in full plate armor that's guarding the thing, I can't roll a nat 20 on my sleight of hand and steal his underwear that he's wearing.
Not without having a very good plan of how you're going to do it.
Right, but that's that is, you're talking about magic.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about teleportation magic at that point. Like, that's not how that skill works. The influence action gives you a codified system by which, as a charisma character, your charisma gets to be useful, but not overpowered.
Yeah.
It sort of codifies being a charisma character.
Yes, you're right, You're right, David.
Generally, yes, but I've I
we suddenly went to the OnlyFans site.
Yeah, there's an old movie, and it's great. It was made by the guys from Dead Gentleman Productions or Zombie Orpheus. They're a combined company, so I don't remember which one it was at the time. They made a movie called The Gamers, and there's a scene in a bar where the rogue is trying to buy them drinks but doesn't have any coin. So he starts robbing one of the other people at the bar, and he keeps rolling really high on his sleight of hand checks. And first he steals the guy's money purse, and then he steals the guy's dagger, and then he steals the guy's sword, and then he steals the guy's underwear. And it's just because he's rolling ridiculously high, and the DM's like, okay, yeah, you get it. If you succeed, you get it. And then a bad guy comes in who the gaming group had wronged previously and is threatening to kill all of them sitting at their table, but hasn't noticed the rogue at the bar. And the rogue's like, he didn't notice me? I want to sneak up behind him and backstab him. And then a discussion breaks out about how you're not going to kill him with just a D4 damage. And the rogue somehow manages to stealthily bring a ballista in and shoot the guy in the back with a ballista for his sneak attack. That's so unrealistic, and yet it happens at tables occasionally. So, I appreciate this sort of codification.
Okay.
It's good, and you know what? And because it's an action that is named, you can do it in combat.
Mm-hmm.
You can be like, I want this character. I don't want to kill this character. And this character thinks I'm the bad guy, but I can perform a charisma check and try and adjust their attitude towards me.
Didn't Atreus try something at the beginning of Bloodlines like that? Or was that... No, he pulled off a spell, I think.
I pulled off a spell. I used some sort of charm spell. Friendship, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
Right. So right.
so
And the
like yeah,
last
if there's a hostile creature in front of you, you might be able to make them indifferent to you. And not think that you're such a bad person, and that can be really useful. That we've been in situations like that in both campaigns right now,
Mhm.
where like I don't think you're the bad guy, and I don't want to kill you, but you're attacking me, and so I'm kind of forced. This is an action you could take that would be really useful. Anyway, you were going.
Yeah. So yep. The other thing they popped up was True Sight. And now it looks like they just added visual illusions. Visual illusions appear transparent to the creature, and the creature automatically succeeds on saving throws against them. They clarified what the creature sees, which is actually pretty good because you can tell you see the illusion and you can tell it's an illusion. So you can still kind of interact with it, but you know it's an illusion.
Right? I like that. That brings up a really interesting question. Now I got to look up a spell.
Uh-huh. And what's the question?
How does that work with Phantasmal Killer?
Ooh. That's a all right, that's good. That is a good question.
Like, because I can see that it's an illusion, so it shouldn't affect me, right? In theory. I want to read the exact wording. You tap into the nightmares of a creature that you can see within range and create an illusionary manifestation of its deepest fears, visible only to that creature. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the target becomes frightened for the duration. At the end of each of the target's turns before the spell, and the target must succeed a wisdom saving throw or take 4d10 psychic damage. On a successful save, the spell ends. Okay, so now jumping back, True Sight says a creature with True Sight has enhanced vision within a specific range. Within that range, the creature's vision pierces through the following: darkness, invisibility. Visual illusions appear transparent to the creature, and the creature automatically succeeds saving throws against them. So yeah, so the True Sight now makes you immune to Phantasmal Killer.
Ooh. Cool.
Yeah, that. You know what? True Sight has always like utility wise. True Sight might be a little like overpowered. I'm willing to grant that, but other than the utility purpose of the spell, it didn't. The only thing it did for you in combat was stop someone from using invisibility to sneak up on you, or attack you in a way you didn't expect, or get away, which was real useful.
Yeah.
Because there has to be a counter to invisibility. But now it makes it like it gives it a defensive, even more of a defensive property. Like illusionary magic can't do you physical harm with this spell up.
Yeah, because you see through the illusion.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would have always gone down on the side if it came up in a game. Like if someone cast Phantasmal Killer at someone that had True Sight, even if that line wasn't in there before.
Yeah,
I would have given them at least advantage on the save, because you can tell it's an illusion, but you're still fucking afraid of it.
Yeah, it's still something you don't like.
But it's still going to hit that part of your brain that has trauma. But like this, you just automatically succeed on a saving throw against it, which means that when you succeed on the saving throw against Phantasmal Killer, the spell ends.
Yep. Cool.
So that's really cool.
All right, that was all the highlights, I guess, from the UA for the glossary.
All right. Cool.
So Brain, now what are we doing?
Well, I wanted to talk about the new book that's coming out for D&D 5e. Bigby presents The Glory of Giants. I personally feel that giants are a really cool antagonist race in D&D. I wrote an entire heist game that was set in a mountain run by giants, and there were different kinds of giants on the different levels of the mountain. And thought it was really cool, and I love the lore behind them. And so to see them actually like putting out an entire book devoted to that sort of lore and expanding the where giants get their elemental magic from and stuff like that, how they tap into it, and giving the players options. Like we as players, we've got options to tap into Fey, into Fiend, into Draconic, on and on, into Undead, into there's a way as a player through classes and subclasses to any of the big monstrous archetypes in D&D to sort of tap into that idea and play with your character having a little power from there. And until recently, I can only think of one subclass that lets you touch giant in that way. And that's the Rune Knight.
Yeah, I was going to
say for fighters.
And unfortunately, as we discussed before the show, back in 2022, they had the Unearthed Arcana Giant options they kicked out. And they got the Barbarian Path of the Giant, which is the one that they're advertising in this.
Yes.
But that's the only subclass. They're leaving the other two subclasses in that UA out.
It seems that way. Like they're not advertising it. Maybe they're there. One of the ads that I keep seeing says learn to inscribe runes and rune casting.
Yeah, it says 8 new feats to unleash runic magic and wield elemental power. And 2 new backgrounds, but it doesn't say anything about the actual subclasses they put in the UA for Runecaster and was a Druid Circle of the Primeval, which
are both awesome spell subclasses, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we'd go over this UA. Maybe some of these options they're going to put them out in later things. Maybe they're introducing these first because they're the most giant related, and then they're going to branch off. I don't see why they wouldn't put this wizard in there.
Yeah,
I really don't.
It's a really good change up on the wizard. Makes for some different style of wizardry.
Yeah,
I like
the new wizard in this UA. I say wizard. I say new rather for this UA. The wizard is called the Rune Crafter. It's a subclass, which lets you do runic magic, which is all based elementally on giants, and is a very cool subclass. The druid subclass is fucking amazing. Maybe I could see them having found a better spot to release the druid subclass, unless they found there was a problem with it and they're not releasing it. But they never tell us, so that's. I really wish they would give us some sort of. We're not releasing this yet because it still needs tweaking or whatever, or re-release it for playtest again with some changes, or something. But so go ahead.
Yeah, looking through this, it doesn't seem too overpowered. You get a few extra ruins that you can cast instead of spells that basically buff you or around you, but they're not all that overpowering.
I mean, as a wizard, any subclass you take is going to get you a few spells that are always prepared or that you can cast without spending a spell slot to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So adding some runes that you can cast instead of spells that you auto get doesn't seem that big a stretch. So yeah, since we're talking about it, we'll go over this subclass real quick.
Yep.
The Runic Crafter enhance their spellcasting ability through ancient power of runes. Though the tradition originated with the giant runecasters of old, runecraft magic has expanded to encompass countless languages and practitioners across different worlds. For many runecrafters, the runes they wield are every bit unique and personal as their spellbook. Some strive to honor their practice's origins among the giants. engraving their runes on decorative stones that adorn their spellcasting implements, while others messily scribe their runes on scraps of paper. So you can take this like to feel any way you want. You can do that that anime trope from Shinto culture of slapping a piece of paper on somebody with a spell written on it with this character. Or you can have them adorned with like, you know, you can have their staff adorned with stones that have different runes carved in it that they can touch to activate the power or whatever.
I have a sticky note with silence on it. I smack it on your mouth.
At second level, you get Runes of Understanding. Your study of runecraft has unlocked the ability to decode runes and languages, regardless of their origin. You always have comprehend languages prepared, and you can cast it without expending a spell slot. The spell doesn't count against the numbers prepared. That's a cool second level ability.
Pretty much constant comprehend languages if you wanted. And
that's no more overpowered than like the Eldritch Invocation that I have on Laz that lets me cast Silent Image at will.
Yep. It's just how you use it. And
right.
I just thought of a thief character that could use that very well. Here's your spy who just sits in a tavern quietly listening with comprehend languages on all the time.
Yep.
Huh. Right. What else we got?
You want to read us Runic Empowerment?
Sure. Also a level 2 ability. When you choose this subclass, you learn how to amplify your magic through the application of various runes. Your knowledge of the runes stored in your spellbook through your though you determine the rune's cosmetic appearance. For example, your runes could be engraved in the cover of your spellbook, glowing wherever you cast a spell, or you could work the shape and meaning of the runes directly into the spell's somatic and verbal components. When you cast a spell using a spell slot, you can invoke one of the following runes. Life Rune. When you invoke this rune, choose one creature you see within 30 feet of you, and you can choose yourself. The creature gains 5 temporary hit points gains temporary hit points equal to 5 times the level of the spell slot expended.
Ooh. That's yeah.
War Rune. When you invoke this rune, you choose one creature you see within 30 feet of you. Until the end of your next turn, the attack rolls the target chosen creature gain a bonus equal to half the level of the spell slot expended. Minimum +1. Rounded up, minimum +1. Here you go. That's not bad. And then when you invoke this rune, the Wind Rune. When you invoke this rune, your speed increases by a number of feet equal to 5 times the level of the spell slot expended, and your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. This benefit lasts until the start of your next turn. You can convert no more than 1 rune per spell. You can use these features a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So basically, it's a way to runic enhance any spell you cast.
Yeah, so like I'm going to cast a spell, but I'm going to gain an extra benefit by invoking a rune while I do it.
And they're not super powerful in some situations, but still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Wind Rune is great for cast.
Yeah, the high how to dodge.
Yeah, and not letting you take attacks of opportunity when you move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, there are a bunch of bad guys around me. I'm going to cast this spell on the big bad guy, and I'm just going to run the fuck away using the wind. I also, while you were reading that, I was thinking, like, with these runes, the description of it being, like, on your spell book or whatever, I would do it as tattoos.
Ooh.
Like, you have tattoos up your arm, and, the runes glow when you activate that rune. I think.
And this is a second level ability, so like that Wind Rune, that's brilliant for a low level caster who doesn't have access, because you don't have access to the Misty Step yet.
Right. Yeah.
So there you go. That's a good way to get out of it. All right, let's see. What's next? Sigils of Warning, level 6.
Go ahead.
You can call a rune of protection on to guard yourself against threats. When you fail a strength, dex, or a con save, you can use your reaction to expend one of your use of your runic empowerment and succeed on a saving throw instead. Ooh, outright succeed, not reroll. Outright succeed on a saving throw. That's actually really powerful.
All right, did I miss something here?
Sigil of warding?
When do you get says you can call on one use of your runic empower. Oh, is there a number of uses on that? No more than one rune per spell.
Use
equal to your proficiency modifier. There we go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can only do that so many times a day, and now you can use it. You can use one of those to just make a strength, dex, or constitution saving.
Yeah, straight up just make versus obviously right now currently with the fighter I'm playing, I get Dominant Will on the samurai subclass. That's an 11th level ability, I think. So yeah, it's still up there, and that's only I get to reroll the die. I don't get to I don't get pass.
Right, absolutely. But the fact that it's limited by you only get it to do it as often as your proficiency bonus means it is it's a finite commodity, and so you choosing to burn it to make that save when you really have to make that save is important. It's going to suck when you're out. All right, next up we've got the 10th level feature, Rune Maven. Your understanding of runecraft has grown immensely. Whenever you use your arcane recovery feature, you also regain a number of your expended uses of runic empowerment. The number of uses you regain can be no more than half your intelligent modifier rounded up to 1.
All right. So when you do arcane recovery as a wizard, you can pick up a couple extra.
Yeah. Well, all right. So you're a wizard. You're going to have a high intelligence. Let's say your intelligence is a 5. So at most you can get back 3 per use of arcane recovery. So arcane recovery is going to get you back a couple of spell slots and a couple of uses of your rune.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That feels right.
Yeah,
that just
not,
feels right.
Yeah, it's not overly cool. You want the last one?
Sure. Engraved Enmity, 14th level. You have mastered the art of wielding your runes directly against your foes. As a bonus action, you can target one creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself. The creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or be magically marked by an enmity rune. Enmity rune appears as a faintly glowing mote of energy that hovers over the marked creature, which suffers the following effect. Runecrafter's Bane, the creature has disadvantage on saving throws made against spells cast by you. Unveiled enemies, the radiance of the glowing rune makes the creature visible if it is invisible, and the creature can't become invisible while the rune persists. Woeful Curse, when you mark a creature as a bonus action, on subsequent turns for the duration of you can invoke the enmity rune to curse the creature until the start of your next turn. The next time one of your allies hits the cursed creature with an attack roll, the target also takes 1d8 force damage and the curse ends. Enmity rune lasts for 1 minute or until you lose concentration, as if you were concentrating on a spell. Once you have marked a creature in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of 3rd or higher to use this feature again. So basically, it is Hex beefed up a little bit. And it's a 3rd level spell. It's 3rd level Hex with a little extra beef. Which for a 14th level ability, it needed to have some extra beef, quite frankly. If it were just Hex at 14th level, that would be shitty. But this gives you some options of how to use it.
Yeah, the glitter dust option basically essentially making the creature visible.
Yeah.
Because at that level, you do a lot more invisible things, or people who have access to invisibility.
And giving them disadvantage on all saving throws against your spells? That's pretty handy. Like,
yeah,
that is I'm going to throw this at you, and then on my next turn, I'm going to pop you with a big spell that you now are at disadvantage on.
Yep. Ooh. That. And there's so many spells at that point that could just do some horrendous things to you.
Right?
Yeah, I'm reminded to our gaming night last Wednesday. We had some entertaining quotes coming out of that one. But we'll get into that later. That's pretty much it for the Runecrafter. Like I said, I hope they added. David's got something in the chat about that. He says it's possible they're avoiding dropping subclasses for classes they have their subclass feature level grants moved around in order to avoid errata for when one D&D gets published.
I mean, that's possible. Also, hi, Raceland. Yeah, but you would think that any subclasses that they're writing right now, to come out for knowing that one D&D is going to drop sometime next year,
they should be writing for it anyways.
That they should be writing so that when they switch the levels, I mean, you can't avoid. Some of them are going to get level switched because right now, with classes, subclass features come in at different points. But that's not that hard a thing if you just write it to be consistent with where it's going to go.
Unless they're dropping it straight into the player's handbook right off the bat.
Yeah. And could be.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? Want to look at the Druid next? The other one that we aren't sure
the one had everyone so giddy about because I just looked at that. That's so fun.
It is such a good subclass.
It's fun.
It's called the Circle of the Primeval. Okay, I'm just going to jump to the point. You get to ride a fucking dinosaur.
Yes!
That's what this subclass is. It's dinosaur riding druid.
Yep, it's a dinosaur rider. Basically, the whole premise behind it is you delve into the primeval world for your creature, and you get a companion. This starts out kind of wee, but as you level up, your companion gets bigger, up to large. So yes, you can have a large dinosaur at what, 6th level?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, you reach back into the primeval, and you grab hold of the spirit of a creature that existed in the way back, tapping into your primeval magic, and you pull it forward to become your druidic companion. Druidic companion has always worked like, in 5th edition anyway, has always worked like Find Familiar.
Mm-hmm.
For your druidic companion, you burn a use of your wild shape to summon your druidic companion. And this is, I can't think of any other druid subclasses that really focus on the companion, which is what makes this one really cool. And it does it in the coolest way. And you don't have to pick a dinosaur. It says because you could take a saber-toothed tiger.
Close enough.
You could take an ankylosaur, a woolly rhino. What are those things called? Hold on. There's a
what, the sloth? Ooh, a giant sloth. That could be fun. Yeah, you could basically choose a prehistoric creature, and starts out normal sized, companion to start with, but it grows.
Right.
Let's see. At 6th level, you learn how to channel your magic through the Primeval Companion. When you cast a spell with a range other than yourself, the spell can originate from your Primeval Companion. Works pretty much kind of like a familiar does. They have a stat block for now. The interesting thing is they have a stat block for the Primeval Companion. So you don't get the stat block of whatever creature it actually is.
Right. Which is the way they're formulating all of the familiar type things now.
Yep.
And even Wild Shape was now going to work this way. You have a stat block, so you don't have to keep track of a bunch of other stat blocks. You use this one stat block, no matter what you skin it as, it does this. The animal I was trying to come up with is the Amphicyonidae.
Okay.
Which is the ancient ancestor of both wolves and bears.
Oh, okay.
It's a wolf bear. It's a fucking wolf bear. They were huge and awesome. And like, I don't need a velociraptor that's going to get real big, or a tyrannosaurus or whatever the fuck. I could ride a giant fucking wolf bear. Fuck you. All right?
Uh-huh. All sorts of fun ways to do that.
Yeah.
Ooh. Circle of the primeval druid in a water-based world. A Meg.
Yes. Yeah. Also, and I don't remember the name of it, but there's also a wolf-like creature that was really big. It was like, it was bigger than a modern hippopotamus or rhino.
Mm-hmm.
That eventually evolved into whale.
Oh yeah.
So like you could be that mammal that started off as a hunter that would dive into bodies of water to snatch things out of the water, that eventually just became the biggest thing living in the water. That's another cool way to go. There's a lot of cool ways you can go with.
Interesting enough to have the reactions. You catch that. One of the reactions for these your companion, your primeval companion, they have intercept attack. When a creature the companion can see hits a target with an attack, the target is within 5 feet of the companion. The target instead takes half the damage, and the companion takes the remainder of the damage.
Cool. So it's sort of a half interpose.
Yeah, you can kind of halfway protect your companions with this creature too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, or yourself. If you're the target, your creature can dive in front of you and take some of the attack.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's. So at 2nd level, your connection with mighty primeval behemoths allows you new insight into the ancient world. You gain proficiency with history. When you make an intelligence check, you can roll a d4 and add that to the rolled ability check. That's kind of cool.
Cool. And then you get your companion.
Then you get your companion, which, as we said, can be any primeval creature. Then at 6th level, prehistoric conduit. You learn how to channel your magic through your primeval companion. When you cast a spell with a range other than self, the spell can originate from your primeval companion, so it makes it even more like a regular familiar.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, if the primeval companion is affected by a spell you cast that allows creatures to make saving throws against its effects, the primeval companion has advantage on its saving throw. So, like, if you drop a fireball, not that druids get fireball, but that's the easiest example.
Yep.
Because you cast it, your creature, if it's in the range of the fireball, gets to get advantage on the saving throw.
And it has evasion after that, essentially.
Yeah.
If normally take half damage on a success save, it takes no damage. Right. Half damage on a failed save. So yeah, it essentially gets evasion against your spells.
So you don't have to worry about your companion being caught in your area of effect spells. Or like if you catch someone in an area of effect spell, your creature, that it's a one that you're concentrating on, so it's going to last. Your creature can just run into that area and start ripping into them.
Yep.
While they're stuck in it. So that's cool.
Yeah. And then level 10, Titanic Bond. The primeval companion grows to large size, and when you summon it, you can grant it either the climbing speed or swimming speed equal its walking speed. In turn, the primeval companion lends you summons a terrifying might. Once per turn, while your primeval companion is summoned, when you hit a creature with an attack or deal damage to a creature you can see with a spell you cast, you can force that creature to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell DC. On a failure, the creature is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Whoa, damn.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Every turn, they got to make a... did I read that right? Once per turn, while your companion is summoned, when you hit a creature with an attack or deal damage to a creature you can see with a spell you cast, they have to take a fear check, essentially.
Right.
Automatic. Here you go. Just make that fear check.
Yep. I mean, a lot of things are immune to fear, so that's not as overpowered as it seems, but it's still pretty fucking good.
Yep. Then, you have a large creature running around with you.
Yeah, and then finally, at 14th level, you get Scourge of the Ancients. Yeah, you've learned to fully harness the Titanic legacy of your companion as part of a bonus action you use to command your creature. You can expend a spell slot of any level to heighten your primeval companion's might, granting it the following benefit. Hulking Behemoth. The companion becomes huge and gains temporary hit points equal to 10 times the level of the spell slot expended. If there isn't enough room for the companion to become huge, it attains the maximum possible size in the space available. Option 2, Mauler. On a hit, your companion's strike deals an additional damage equal to 1d8 plus the level of the spell expended. And finally, Titanic Stride. The companion's walking speed increases by a number of feet equal to 5 times the level of the spell expended. These benefits last for 1 hour until the companion vanishes or until you expend a spell slot for this feature again.
Yeah, and those, that it gets all 3 of those things.
Does it? Is it not an or?
No.
Oh, no, it is not an or. You're right. That is an and.
Ooh. The Hulk Beast.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, that's fucking cool. Like, yeah, my primeval companion just is huge, and I can run.
Mm. And
Cheer says that's a little OP. It might be, and that might be why, like, they might have gotten some feedback on that. Yeah. But it only lasts for an hour. You got to burn a spell slot to do it, depending on how high a level spell slot.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a level 14 ability too. So you got to be a high level druid to get away with it.
Yeah. So 14th level. Even if I burn, let's say I burn a first level, right? The highest.
Now we gotta go look.
Oh wait, let me look at Atreus. We're close to that level. So spells. What is my highest level spell currently? Is 6.
Oh, 14th level, highest level spell you can have is you can have one 17th level or 17th level, one 7th level slot.
So at maximum you can get 7. You grant if your companion is huge. If you're riding a fucking Tyrannosaurus, because basically you're turning your raptor into a Tyrannosaurus if you're running the raptor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically you're granting it an extra
70
points if you burn your highest level spell to do it.
And you only get one of them.
That doesn't seem that big a deal at 14th level with the monsters you're going to be fighting. And it only lasts for an hour.
Now here's the thing that hits though. On a hit, the companion strike deals an additional damage equal to 1d8 plus the level of spell slot. So you're adding an additional d8 plus 7. So
on average 11 points.
Yeah,
of extra damage.
That's
too bad. Not that big. That's really not that big. And it gets to move a little faster. It gets
35
a number of feet equal to 5 times. So yeah, at a maximum of an extra 35 feet per turn. At a maximum, and that's if you burn your high. Who's going to burn? Nobody's burning their 1/7th level slot for that. Right? right? You're gonna burn a 4th level spell at most, or maybe I mean, let's look at it at the lowest level. How effective is this at the lowest level? If you cast a 1st level spell for this, they become huge. They get an extra 10 hit points. They deal 1d8 plus 1 extra damage, and they move an extra 5 feet per turn. That almost feels underpowered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so the level of the spell you cast it at, you're not. I don't think that's OP.
No.
Tyr says I would. No, I would not. I would not burn my 7th level spell to empower this creature unless it was unless I felt like we were in the shit. But even then, my highest level spell is probably gonna be more effective if I just fucking cast it.
Depending on what it is, yeah. And no, Tyr, Locke would not. I would, though. Damn straight I would. Just to ride a T-Rex, damn straight I would. But we all know I'm crazy. But look at it, though. The creature doesn't level up all that much with you.
No, I mean, the creature's spell stats stay pretty much even, but they get cooler abilities.
Yeah, they pretty much. Yeah, they don't. They only ever get 1 attack. Yeah, based on your proficiency bonus, 1 attack. Their hit points is 10 plus 5 times your druid level. So yeah, the hit points go up as you do, but their armor class is 13 plus your proficiency bonus.
So that goes up as you do.
Yeah, but it's not super OP. So the creature is not that super powerful, but it's still not bad. Until you make him big.
Let's.
So 14 times 5. That's 70, 80. That's an 80 hit point creature at level 14. If I'm doing my math right. Yeah, 10 plus 5 times your druid levels, the hit points of that creature. So that's an 80 hit point creature. You drop a 7th level spell in it because you're crazed. That gets an additional 70 temporary hit points. So it puts it to 150 hit point creature running around.
I mean,
at level 14. That's actually about on par if you think about it.
Yeah. And so, all right. I'm looking at 7th level druid spells. Just the ones that you get at 7th level. Not anything you could upcast 7th. You get draconic transmutation, which lets you get wings and a breath weapon and some cool shit. You get Firestorm, which is a pretty damn good spell.
Yep.
You get Plane Shift, you get Regenerate, and you get Reverse Gravity. Almost any of those are a better option than dropping your 7th level spell into your beast, unless your beast is the thing that's going to save you in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'll drop a 6th level spell into it, sure, but my 7th level spell at 14th level, I don't know about that.
And at 20th level, it doesn't matter.
Nah.
If I'm dropping a 9th level spell in and at 20th level, it doesn't matter because we're at epic level shit anyway, so he should be on par.
Tyr said just to ride a T-Rex. I get to ride a T-Rex no matter what spell level I put into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it becomes an Uber Rex.
Yeah, it just becomes beefier. It does a little bit more damage and can move a little faster if I pump up the spell level. Even with the 1st level spell, it's still a fucking T-Rex I get to ride. So, like, that's... Yeah, no, I don't think it's overpowered. I really don't.
Yeah.
I want it so bad. I want it. Put it in the fucking book, guys. Why is this? Why are you not advertising this in the Circle or in the Glory of Giants books? Put it in. Like, you need this one.
David, yes, but is it an undead T-Rex?
Okay, Dresden, listen. They can't all be Sue, all right? Sometimes, you You want to ride an undead T-Rex, get yourself a necromancer.
Back to that comment from earlier. So yeah, that's well. What else? From the Unearthed Arcana for 2022 for giant options.
Yep. So we've got one more subclass, which is the one that's actually going to show up in the book for sure.
Yep.
That we can go over, but let's do that after we take a break.
Yeah, it is
about that time. So everybody, hang tight while we go get our beverages of choice and our snickety snacks, and we will return in about 10 minutes. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Earthbound Travelers. We got our beverages of choice, our snickety snacks, and we are back to dive into more rules minutia. Right now, we are looking at the 2002 UA Giant options because some of the things in this are finally coming to fruition and getting put in a book that's coming out very soon called the Big B Presents The Glory of Giants. Before the break, we covered two of the subclass options listed in this UA, the Runecaster Wizard and the Circle of the Primeval Druid, which Raph and I both agree is one of the better subclasses that they've come up with. And right now, we don't know that it's actually making it into the book, so because they're not advertising it as such. So we don't know, but we're hopeful that we get to see the subclass become real at some point.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Until then, you can ask your DM if they will let you play this Unearthed Arcana version of the Druid or the Runecaster Wizard. Much the same way that I asked Tyr for a character for our possible third campaign. If I could play the next one we're going to cover. That was before the announcement was made that it's going to show up in an actual book. But Tyr said yes, because Tyr is often a benevolent GM. We won't say always, because there are times when he says no to things. But for the most part, he says yes when we ask him things, as long as they're within reason. And this is a pretty cool... this is right up there with the Druid as far as I'm concerned. This is a little closer to the flavor of the Rune Knight, but for barbarians, which both of them being martial classes feels pretty appropriate. So this is the Path of the Giant Barbarian. And lets you tap into all sorts of cool giant-like powers as a barbarian. So the first power you get is Giant Power at 3rd level. When you choose this path, you learn to speak, read, and write Giant and one other language of your choice. If you already... or one other language of your choice if you already know Giant. Additionally, you learn either Druidcraft or Thaumaturgy as a cantrip, which is kind of interesting for a barbarian. You get not the most useful cantrip, but Thaumaturgy is always one of my favorites. It's a very, very handy little extra dramatic spell. When you want to make your voice boom, or all the doors slam shut, or all the candles blow out. I always reference and think of Gandalf when he's talking to Frodo and says, "Do not take me some conjure of cheap tricks." He's using a cantrip, the cheapest of tricks, in that moment, and that cantrip is Thaumaturgy. So that Tolkien has made me love that spell, and I think every caster should have it. But that's just my... Also at 3rd level, you get Giant's Havoc. Your rages pull strength from the primeval might of giants, transforming you into a hulking force of destruction. While raging, you gain the following benefit. Crushing Hurl. When you make a successful ranged attack with a thrown weapon using strength, you can add your rage damage bonus to the attack's damage. Something you can't do with normal barbarians. You can't add your rage damage to a ranged attack. So this gives you the ability to do that. And this is the real meat and potatoes of this subclass. Giant Stature. Your reach increases by 5 feet. If you are smaller than large, you become large, along with anything you are wearing. Even if there isn't enough room for you to become large, your size... If there isn't enough room for you to become large, your size...
But your reach still increases.
But your reach still increases. Which, visually, that's weird, but all right. I mean, bugbears get reach, so, like...
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like, so not to give anything away, but the character I built using this subclass is a dwarf, because I love the idea of a dwarf that turns into a large dwarf. When he gets angry. Right? Yeah. I think that one is gigantic. That is a much bigger than large dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
But you become 10 foot. You take up a 10 foot by 10 foot cube on the board, and the idea of a dwarf doing that is hilarious. Almost as hilarious as, like, a gnome or a halfling, but it just feels right in a dwarf. Like, suddenly this little brick of a dude just becomes a large brick of a dude.
A large, angry brick of a dude.
Right. So. And I love it when they play with with the way rage works and channeling your rage to let you do other things, because I think rage should be pulling on primeval force, and this does that in a sort of beautiful.
Mm-hmm. All right, at 6th level, they get, as of right now, they get Elemental Cleaver. Your bond with the elemental might of giants and their elk grows, and you learn to infuse weapons with primordial energy. When you enter your rage, you can infuse one weapon of your choice that you are holding with one of the following damage type: acid, cold, fire, thunder, or lightning. While you wield that infused weapon during your rage, the weapon's damage type changes to the chosen type and deals an extra 1d6 damage of the chosen type when it hits, and it gains the thrown property with a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 foot. If you throw the weapon, it reappears in your hand the instant after it hits or misses a target. The infused weapon's benefits are suppressed while a creature other than you wields it. While raging and holding the infused weapon, you can use a bonus action to change the infused weapon's current damage type to a different one from the one above damage type. Ooh. That's pretty cool.
Right? So I make my maul lightning damage. I then hurl it at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And get to add my rage bonus to that because of crushing hurl. And the second it hits them, it reappears in my hand.
Yep.
And then if the lightning damage wasn't effective, as a bonus action, I can change that damage type. That's really handy. That's really useful and cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
And if someone manages to disarm me, like a swashbuckler rogue or a battle master fighter, and somebody else picks up my weapon, it's just a normal weapon until I get it back in my hand. And then if the effect is still there, it just becomes a lightning rod again or an acid. I really like that. I really do. That's a really cool flavor for a power.
Yes.
Up next, you get Mighty Impel, 10th level. Your connection to giant strength now allows you to hurl, I love this one, both allies and enemies on the battlefield. As an action, while ranging, you can choose one medium or smaller creature within reach and move it to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of yourself. An unwilling creature must succeed on a strength saving throw. DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier to avoid the effect. If at the end of this movement, the thrown creature isn't on a surface or liquid that can support it, the creature falls, taking damage as normal. So you can literally grab someone and fling them 30 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm. Correction, as a bonus action.
Oh, yes. So yeah, that's a cool bonus action, especially because you can use it on allies. I grab the fighter by the scruff of his armor because I'm now large size and just fling them across the battlefield at the enemy, which means that because they didn't choose the movement, they don't take attacks of opportunity on their way.
Yeah.
And so I can basically be like, "Oh, you want to go kill that guy over there? Go for it."
Fastball special what?
Yes, exactly. I love that. I love it a lot.
Yeah, that could be kind of that could be very useful in some ways, in a lot of ways. But yes,
there's a lot of cool ways to use that power because you can use it on allies and enemies alike.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't throw your ally straight up in the air because then they take falling damage. Unless there's a cool thing they can do, like throw the monk straight up in the air and let them come down on the target.
Yeah. Yes, we've had some fun with that one. All right, last one. Demiurge Colossus. 14th level. The primordial power of your rage intensifies. When you rage, your reach now increases by 10 feet. Your size can now increase to huge. And can now use your Mighty Impel to move creatures that are large or smaller. In addition, the extra damage dealt by your elemental cleaver feature increases to 2d6.
Yeah, it's just adding more to what you already had. It's
Yeah.
just bumping everything up a little bit, but it still feels right.
I'm even more
yeah.
scientist.
You get bigger. You're now able to anger more or to channel your anger better. And so now you get bigger, your reach gets longer, and anything that's smaller than you could chuck across the field and you can hit harder with your elemental. Yeah, that all feels right in line.
Yeah.
Right? With the idea of this subclass.
And assuming they keep this subclass the way it is when they put it in the Big Bs, that'll be a solid subclass to take. It'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I look forward to seeing if there were any changes made to it now that it's actually coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, in this UA, we get a few feats.
Yeah, those are...
there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. 9, looks like 9 feats.
Yep. But the first one right off the touch is interesting.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, first one. It's called Elemental Touch. You've been exposed to the primordial magic of elemental planes, granting you measure control over the natural world around you. You learn either the Druidcraft Thaumaturgy cantrip using Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma spellcasting ability. And when you finish a long rest, you can choose which element you are tuned to: earth, air, fire, or water. Depending on your choice, you can use a bonus action to cause one of the following effects. Air. You gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed till the end of your turn. If you are airborne at the end of your turn after using this movement and aren't held aloft by other means, you fall. So you got a 1-turn fly. Cool.
Yeah,
Earth. Yeah. You cause the ground within 30 feet of you to become difficult terrain for 1 minute or until you create this effect again. During that time, you can move across the ground that is difficult terrain without spending extra movement. Cool. Actually very useful for rangers.
Yes.
Fire. You surround yourself in a cloud of ash and smoke. Until the end of your turn, your movement doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. That's
excellent.
Useful. And then water. You can create a forceful surge of water directed at a creature within 50 feet of you that you can see. The creature must succeed a strength check equal to save and throw equal against your DC equals 8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier plus your proficiency bonus, or be pushed up to 10 foot away from you. The water vanishes immediately after a creature succeeds or fails. You can create this effect a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Yeah, I mean, that's a solid feat. That gives you some options with the feat. Granted, you have to choose when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you choose that when you rest. You don't get to switch it. So it's a little limited, but limited isn't bad in this case because it gives you such cool options. And then you get to choose when you use it. And how you only get it the number of times equal to your proficiency. That all seems pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's not too overpowered. Like I said, the air one is, I got fly speed for a turn, but you better have landed.
Right. I mean the who is it? The Psy-Knight gets something like that where they get a fly speed, but it only lasts like a round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like it's the same thing. It's not something that's not heard of in the rules as they stand already. So that's pretty cool.
All right, you got the next one?
Yep. Next up, we have Ember of the Fire Giant, where you manifest the emblematic fire of giants, granting you the following benefits. First, born of the flame, you're resistant to fire damage. Always cool. And Searing Ignition. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of your attacks with a magical burst of flame. Each creature of your choice within 15 feet of you that can see you must make a dexterity saving throw. DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your con modifier. On a failed save, the creature takes fire damage equal to 2d6 plus your proficiency bonus and is blinded until the start of your next turn. On a successful save, the teacher takes half as much damage with no additional effect. You can use Searing Ignition a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended rest. That's a nice little, like, you're still using an attack action. But for one attack action 3 or 4 times a day, depending on your proficiency bonus, you get to affect all the bad guys around you.
Yes, and you're hitting them with the blind.
Yes, blind can be huge. So that's, yeah.
The damage, especially for an 8th level feat, because prerequisite is 8th level, the damage is still meh, but it's the blind effect is the cool part of that one.
Right. You have a chance to blind everybody within 15 feet. So that's cool.
Yep.
You want to take the next one?
Yep. Fury of the Frost Giant, prereq 4th level. You manifest the Icy Might emblematic of the Frost Giants, granting you the following benefits. Born of Ice, you're resistant to cold damage. Cool. Frigid Vengeance, when a creature hits you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to retaliate with a burst of magical ice. Magical ire. Ire, ice, close enough. The creature must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you until the start of its next turn. You can use your reaction this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain all expended uses upon long rest. So they hit you and get really afraid of you and run away.
Yeah, that seems
on par, especially for only a fourth something for 4th level.
Yeah, it's not as cool as the Searing Ignition, but it's a reaction instead of an attack, and it's only 4th level. So, yeah. Next up, we have Guile of the Cloud Giant at 8th level. You get Misty Form. You can cast the Blur spell without using a spell slot or a material component. When you cast the spell this way, the spell does not require you to maintain concentration on it. Once you cast the spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. You can also cast the spell in the normal way, using spell slots if you have the appropriate level. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma is your spellcasting ability for this. You choose when you gain feat. In addition, you get Silver Tongue. You gain proficiency in either Deception or Persuasion, and your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make using this. And that's an 8th level prerequisite. So that's pretty good for 8th level. I like that a lot.
A free blur spell, no concentration required. Okay.
Yeah, that's real handy, and you get to be proficient with Deception or Persuasion and double the ability check.
Ooh, I see rogues taking this one.
Right.
Yep. All right. Next one up is Keenness of the Storm Giant, prerequisite 4th level. You've manifested the protection of your spellcasting emblematic of Storm Giants, granting you the following benefits. Dreamer's Magic. You learn the Detect Thoughts spell in one 1st level spell of your choice. First levels must be from the Abjuration of Divination School of Magic. You cast each of these spells without expending a spell slot. Once you cast either of these spells in this way, you cannot cast that spell in this way until you finish your long rest. You can also cast these spells using a spell slot to your appropriate level in Wisdom or Charisma of your spell is your spellcasting ability feature. And then you also get Mountain Sight. If you gain Dark Vision, you gain Dark Vision out to range of 60 feet. If you already have Dark Vision from another source, its range is increased by 30 foot.
Yeah, no, that's
interesting.
I like that they're not penalizing you if you're a race with Dark Vision. You still get a benefit.
Yes.
And that all seems appropriate for 4th level. And then Outsized Might. You have Absorb Primeval Magic that allows you to, despite your relatively small stature, to embody the might of titanic creatures. This grants you the following abilities. Little but mighty. You gain proficiency in either athletics or acrobatics. Powerful build. You count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity and the amount of push, drag, or lift. And Stalwart. You have advantage on saving throws against being moved or knocked prone. I think that's a cool one. I mentioned this particular feat to Tyr when I was talking about my Path of the Giant Barbarian build, and he thought that this was that this would be redundant on that sub. But like, this doesn't require me to be raging. This gives me that option to feel like someone who has primeval magic imbuing them somehow, even when I'm not in my rage.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little. It's not going to be useful when you're in rage, but outside of rage, like when someone hits me, I have advantage on saving throws not to be moved or knocked down. Even as a little guy, I'm still primevally tough that way. Even as a little guy, I can still carry more and lift, drag, push more, and I'm really good with athletics or acrobatics. I like athletics better.
Yeah, athletics feels right for this one versus acrobatics.
Yes, but I could see if you wanted to use this as like, if you're taking this on a rogue, I could see, or like you could flavor this if I'm playing a finesse fighter of any type or a finesse attacker of any type. Little but mighty with acrobatics, I get hit and I use my dexterity to do a flip and land in the same place that I was, rather than being knocked backwards from it. And I get advantage when I need to, because I'm a little more powerful in my acrobatics. Yeah, I could totally.
Mm-hmm. All right, this next one. This one's interesting. Rune Carver Apprentice. You've begun studying the art of runecraft, which allows you to temporarily mark your items and imbue them with magic. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can mark one non-magical weapon, armor, piece of clothing, or other object you can touch with a rune of your choice. You temporarily learn one first level spell based on the rune you choose, as specified in the table below. And you know that spell until you finish a long rest when the rune fades. And there's a whole list of runes. False Life. I'll just list the spells that go with them. False Life, Fog Cloud, Ray of Sickness, Chromatic Orb, Bane, Burning Hands, Bless, Armor of Agathis, Good Berry, Long Strider, Command, Guiding Bolt, Cure Wounds, Jump, Shield, Sanctuary, Thunderwave, Heroism, Featherfall. While you're wearing it or carrying the rune marked object, you can cast the chosen spell associated with the rune once without using a spell slot and material components. And you can also cast a spell using any spell slot you have. Your spell casting ability as a feat is Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma based on what you choose.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool. Like you know a handful of runes, a couple handfuls of runes actually, and can imbue them onto an object you're carrying and activate it once for free, or burn a spell slot to do it again.
Yep.
So like that's yeah, no, that seems totally worthwhile to me. It's almost like one of the like magic adept feats. It falls right in line with those, I think.
Yeah.
There are some cool spells on that list, though.
Yeah.
False Life, Bane, Bless, Long Strider, Command, Guiding Bolt, Cure Wounds,
Shield,
Sanctuary, Featherfall, Thunderwave, and Heroism. Yeah, there's some good stuff in that list.
And it's a wide variety.
None of those are bad spells. Like, there's not a single one in that list that you're like, I mean, Goodberry is the one that I'm like, is that useful? I'm probably not going to use Goodberry a lot from this. I'm probably going to, I would rather take Featherfall than Goodberry any day of the week, because Featherfall might come in handy later. Goodberry is just going to give me some temporary hit. I mean, while that's useful, I could just do False Life.
Yep.
Or have Cure Wounds and be able to heal a member of the party when they need it. All right, up next is Rune Carver Adept. This is a 4th level. Your skill with the art of runecraft has increased. You also have to have Rune Carver Apprentice first. So you need to be 4th level and have taken Rune Carver Apprentice. Your skill with the art of runecraft is increased. When you finish a long rest, you now mark a number of objects equal to your proficiency bonus with things from the Rune Carver Apprentice. An object can only have 1 rune at a time and must be inscribed with a different rune on each object. So I can have cure wounds on my belt. I can have shield on my armor. I can have false life and featherfall on my hat, and bane on my weapon or whatever. Guiding bolt, whatever.
And note that though these runes cannot be applied to magic items.
Right.
So these are not magic items. So yeah, as you get up in level, it's gonna be more interesting what you put it on, because you start filling up some of your magic item slots.
So you know what? That's where you play the guy who has like a bunch of pouches on his belt, and he just has to touch the right pouch. I get a new pouch for every proficiency slot bonus number I have.
Yep, or rings. A bunch of non-magical rings.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, up next, we got 2 left. Soul of the Storm Giant, prerequisite 8th level. You've manifested divination abilities and Tempest magic emblematic of the Storm Giants, granting you the following benefits. Maelstrom Aura. As a bonus action, you surround yourself in an aura of magical wind and lightning that extends 10 feet from you in every direction, but not through total cover. The aura lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated. While the aura is active, attack rolls against you have disadvantage, and whenever a creature starts its turn within the sphere, you can force the creature's speed to be halved until the start of the next turn. Once you use this bonus action, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. And Storm's Oracle. You can cast a divination spell as a ritual without needing material components. Int-Wiz or Charisma is your spellcasting feat when you choose this feat. Once you cast a spell this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Cool.
Gives you some flavor options and some combat effectiveness. It's 8th level. It might even be a little underpowered for 8th level, frankly.
Yeah, I was looking at it going, okay, so basically I impose disadvantage on somebody when they take an attack against me if they're inside that sphere around me, and I can cast divination spells as a ritual.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Maelstrom Aura should be you can use it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
Per long rest. That would make it feel like 8th level to me.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah. Finally, we have Vigor of the Hill Giant. You manifest the resilience emblematic of the Hill Giants, granting you the following benefits. This is a 4th level prerequisite, by the way. Bulwark. When you are subjected to an effect that would move you at least 5 feet or knock you prone, you can use your reaction to steady yourself. You are neither moved nor knocked prone. Hardy Health. When you are subjected to a spell that restores your hit points, you can regain additional hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. You can gain these additional hit points a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish rest. That's a handy little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can never be knocked prone at this point.
Right. And when I get a little bonus healing. I think all of the ones that are that have a type of giant named in them, the Fury of the Fire Giant, the Guile of the Cloud Giant, the Soul of the Storm Giant, the Vigor of the Hill Giant, and the Keenness of the Stone Giant, all of those are really good flavor, especially for the way that they're rewriting the Goliaths. Because the Goliaths now, when you choose Goliath, you get to pick which type of giant your lineage comes from and get something based on that. And
Yeah,
so these will give you a way to expand on that and let you feel more of a connection to your ancestry. And that's a cool thing for players. That is a good way to make your character feel more like the way you've designed. And I'm in favor of anything. So that concludes our coverage on the 2022 UA for giant options, a lot of which we should be seeing, along with a bunch of new monsters apparently in the Glory of the Giants presented by Big B book that's coming out in a month or so.
It doesn't give us a start date, but it is up for pre-order on digitally on
yeah, so generally they put that out about a month before it. So expect that in a month. Bye Welsh and bye Ustad. I see you guys had to leave, and David all had to head out. We're sorry you couldn't stay. You can always watch the VOD later. Hope you do.
Yep.
So the other thing that I have for us real quick is apparently 1D&D is experiencing some publishing.
What?
Yeah, they're having trouble finding a printer that is willing to print all three of the new source books for 1D&D at the same time.
Ooh.
Because they wanted to release them all at once, but that is a very, very large print order. Because having to put out enough, putting out one book is that's going to sell as much as it's probably going to sell is big. Putting out three, that's huge. That's a lot of books being printed.
Yeah. Ooh. Because I'm thinking, I back all sorts of silly Kickstarter stuff. I'm thinking about just the logistics chain beyond that of just getting them shipped. And we're looking at a major mainstream player's handbook, DMG monster guide that you need for the base game rewrite. That's going to go out to thousands and thousands of players because everyone wants a physical copy because we're all goblins.
Yeah. Not just that, also going out to bookstores and comic shops and other hobby locations. It is a big undertaking to put out one book for these guys, let alone three that when somebody buys, the players are probably just going to buy one, but all the DMs are going to want to buy all three.
Yep.
Or feel the need to buy all three. And so they want to put all three of them out at once, but it's a big order and they're having trouble finding a publisher that can do it. So, so we'll see where that goes. But that's the news I saw this week, that is a thing. So that it, I don't know where we're going to stand on the release date. It's supposed to come out in 2024, but it may get pushed, or they may have to divide it up and put out the player's handbook, followed by the DMG, followed by, or maybe they just put out the player's handbook and the DMG to start, and then they publish the monster manual a little later. I don't know.
But they've actually published these all out as a three. They've done 3 packs before books.
They have, but those 3 packs were all pre-COVID. True. And a lot of publishers have trimmed down post-COVID. Nobody is as big in their print scale as they used to be, I don't think. So I think that's part of the issue. Is that getting someone who has the facility and the employees necessary to manage all of that. It's huge. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So audience, hit us with questions. We'll start to get down to the bottom of the hour.
Yep. If you have any questions, let us know. The other one thing, and we're not going to spend a lot of time dwelling, because we had mentioned this a while back, right? We were going to talk about this on the episode that turned out to be the first of us covering the new playtest UA. and that is that ever since the one OGL in particular, we have seen a rise in the fan content on the internet hating on Wizards of the Coast. And that is because people have figured out in the algorithms that hate gets more clicks than like.
Yes,
And
unfortunately. Look at the Star Wars fandom.
Right. So yeah, so there are a bunch of creators out there that have looked at what the Star Wars fandom is doing. And look, you can go and look at what the hate Star Wars fandom content creators are doing, and what they're doing is blatantly lying to their audience. And it has been proven time and time again that everything they say is wrong, and yet people are still clicking on and watching and subscribing to their shit.
Mhm.
And so people in the D&D community have seen how much revenue these guys are getting off monetizing streams of hate. And because Wizards of the Coast fucked up, admittedly. I mean, there were always haters out there for Wizards of the Coast. There always have been. But now you're seeing a huge rise in the hate put against Wizards of the Coast because people have figured out it's monetizable. And that people will click on it because people want to see why should I be hating them now? I was mad at them before and then they fixed that. So what are they doing now that I can be mad at?
People want to be mad.
Yeah, like I saw a thing, I clicked on it just to see what it was. It was talking about the OGL thing in the title was about the OGL. I'm like, is there some new news that I'm not aware of?
Nope.
So I clicked on it and the guy was basically his podcast thing that he was doing was basically, it's been 412 days or what the fuck ever since they've said anything about the OGL. We have no news to report. That was his entire fucking thing about it. And then he talked about some other stuff that was really irrelevant, but like the way he got you there was like, there's new news on the OGL. The new news is there's no fucking news, but I got you here and now you're listening to my bullshit.
Yep. And I agree with you on that. The hate leading to clicks, the negative advertising, the negative baiting out there is just bad. It started pretty heavily in the Star Wars, and it's still out there, and it drives me nuts because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd and a fan. I'm like, really? Why are we hating on these people for no other reason than you want to make some money? And now it's starting to bleed over into other fandoms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like the Star Wars stuff. There is not a week that goes by without me seeing somebody claiming that Kathleen Kennedy is about to get fired and that the sequels are going to get wrecked. I saw things like that posted in the same, like the day after Star Wars Celebration just announced the new Rey Skywalker movie that's coming out. The sequels are getting retconned. They just said they're making another one. How are you lying about this and people are believing you? I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
These
are the same people that counterspell heal.
Yes, they are.
Here, you brought that one on yourself by riling me up about it earlier, and I'm riled up now, so I'm going to talk about that too.
No, but these, it is a form of nagging. It is, and it's not just in the fandom. It's been used all over media, and it's hate sells, and it sucks. Am I a fan of Wizards of the Coast? No. They do some dumb shit, and I disagree with some of their policies. But I'm going to hate on their policies as they come out, when they come out. And when they do good things, and they do great things, I'm going to build them up because, hey, this is cool. This giant book looks cool. Cool. Yeah. Right now, I'm all thumbs up. Let's go do it. This is fun.
No. I'm different than you on this. I don't hate Wizards of the Coast. I think Wizards of the Coast is doing a lot right. They're doing more right than they're doing wrong. If I'm going to direct hate in that direction, my hate is going to be for Hasbro, who are trying to over-monetize D&D. And that's the problem. It's not Wizards of the Coast. It's their parent company dictating how they monetize D&D at them. It's not the creators of the game. It's not the devs.
No.
They're doing their job. They're developing a cool game. They're making changes based on what the fans want to see. And they're doing everything as right as possible. It's what the parent corporation is doing that we should be mad about. So
Even Jeremy
mad
Crawford?
at Hasbro.
Even
No,
Jeremy Crawford?
not even Jeremy Crawford. You know what? I like Jeremy Crawford. I agree with him on a lot of stuff. I'm not Tier. Even Tier admits that Jeremy Crawford gets it right sometimes. But like,
and most of what I've been, I don't like about has been the corporate policies. Their content so far has been pretty good. They put out good things. And just the monta, and you're right, that comes down from Hasbro and the business side of things.
Yeah, the one OGL, I guarantee you that was not a decision made by Wizards of the Coast. It was a decision made by Hasbro, where Hasbro said, you need to fix this because other people are profiting off of our thing. Have your legal department write something new. That's not Wizards of the Coast's fault. And as we went over on this very show, back when it was happening,
yep,
it was not as bad as people made it out to be. The initial article was a hit piece and focused on not the bad parts. There were bad parts in it, yes, but they got people riled up about the not bad parts, the parts that were, as a company, smart business.
Yeah.
So,
But, yeah, we'll put that one back down. We've covered that enough. Go look at our Go out to this podcast. Go out to YouTube. Go find our episodes. See what we're talking about. You can see all the old arguments brought back up. We're done.
Yeah. They're titled One OGL. You can find them.
Yep.
So yeah,
I think hit the like and subscribe.
Yeah. So I don't see any more questions in chat. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us.
Yep. I'm okay with that. Because the next stuff I got is going to be something that's going to be a discussion that's going to take a while. So.
Right. So hope everyone enjoyed the show. I hope you will come back and join us next week for whatever the hell we're going to discuss then. We don't know. We'll figure it out. So we're going to say goodbye. Raph, you want to tell them who you are?
I have been Raph Mad, one of your co-hosts for this interesting podcast about discussions of giants. And I can be found at BLK Dragon 13,000 at dice.camp on Mastodon.
And hi, gamers. I'm still Locke Clark. I have been your other co-host on this show. I can be found on the social medias at Locke Unruly. That's Locke with an H. And remember to take care of each other, to love each other. And things get hard, things get tough. But you can be the torch that lights the way for a better tomorrow. So remember to all be torchbearers. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.